Making Tax Digital is upon us. This is an update to make sure that everything is correct for when we actually have to make our first submissions. This is James and Hussein, and we do regular updates on tax and accounting issues. So if you'd like to be kept up to date, please subscribe to the channel. And if you press the like button, it helps us and the channel. So please encourage you to do that. So Making Tax Digital has been talked about for quite a long time and has actually been with us for a little while, but no submissions have yet been made. First thing to sort out is, who does it affect? So Hussein, who does Making Tax Digital affect?
Making Tax Digital, it's currently affecting sole traders and landlords with income above £50,000. And this is income before deducting expenses. And the reference point which is used to determine whether this threshold is breached is the 24-25 tax return.
The £50,000 limit, is that for just your income from your trade, or can you then separately have income from your property, or is it the combined?
It is the combined income from your self-employment and your property rental. And if that exceeds £50,000, you are caught under Making Tax Digital.
And how are those limits changing over the forthcoming years?
So from next year, the limit is dropping to £30,000, and the reference point for the tax year which is used to determine whether this threshold is breached is 25-26 tax return. The threshold will be reducing further to £20,000 from 2028.
£20,000 isn't very much at all, but it's one in London or two maybe in the northwest, so it's going to include just about everybody. I think that's the deal, isn't it? So what's changing with Making Tax Digital?
So previously, self-employed individuals and landlords would submit one tax return per year, which would be due in January each year. The change now is that a return is required every quarter, with the first quarter ending on 5th of July. So this quarter starts from 6th of April 2026 to 5th of July.
So we're already in it. Yeah.
Yes, and the deadline for submission for this first quarterly return is 7th of August.
So 7th of August. So the first time that something has to be done is the 7th of August, and that's soon.
Yes.
So does this affect when you pay your tax?
The government's intention is to collect tax payments quarterly. However, for this initial period or the initial tax year, payments are still due by January and July each year. However, in the near future, payments will be collected quarterly.
But we don't have an actual date for when quarterly payments are going to start at some stage in the future. And what do you think about that? Do you think it would be beneficial or detrimental having quarterly payments?
I would say it does affect cash flow for certain businesses. There are certain businesses that would prefer paying in January because they have access to the cash.
Christmas takings.
And reinvest in their business. With quarterly payments, the payments need to be made sooner. But on the positive side, it can help certain individuals planning their cash flow out throughout the year rather than having to pay a lump sum in January and July each year.
And ultimately it'll get rid of payments on account, I guess. Now, not all accountants understand payments on accounts as far as I can work out. The only thing that's good about payments on account is that it's simpler than the system that it preceded. That's the only thing that's good about it. But that is way into the future. And the most important thing is that 7th of August deadline when we actually had to submit something. So as well as the deadlines, are there requirements to also keep your records in a certain way?
Yes. So records need to be maintained in a digital format in order for the submissions to be made digitally. We are currently partnered with softwares like Xero, QuickBooks, Free Agent, where clients can maintain their accounting records on these softwares. We can make quarterly submissions through these softwares. Certain landlords who currently do not maintain their records on a software can continue using spreadsheets, and we have softwares that we will use to convert the spreadsheet into a digital format, which can be submitted to HMRC every quarter.
Yeah, from my own personal point of view, I've been keeping a spreadsheet, and it's a little bit of a nightmare actually. It's really difficult to keep a spreadsheet, and you might be surprised just how easy and how much time you can save by having integrated accounting software. When you send the invoice, it also updates your ledgers, which is just a lot easier and a lot more robust, because spreadsheets are always very flexible, means that you can muck them up very easily. So as well as it being quarterly, is that it, or is there anything else you need to do at the end of the year?
So there is an end of year submission as well. So in total, it would be 5 submissions in a year. So it would be the quarterly ones, which would be 4 in a year, plus the end of year submission.
So it's effectively 5 submissions, not 4. But I suppose if you do them accurately, it's only 4.
Yeah.
I think that with computers, you can get a false sense of security that everything is accurate. It's printed out on typing, all looks formal and correct. What errors are you finding in the way people are doing things that they need help with?
There's a common misconception that with MTD individuals would download a software and do the submissions quarterly. However, it's not just that. You do need an accountant or an advisor to prepare the accounts that need to be submitted, to look at the allowable and disallowable expenses, to ensure particular reliefs are claimed as part of this submission. The key area to consider with this is that your quarterly submissions should be done in the same way as you would do the annual submission or the tax return for the whole year, because what you don't want to do is submit your quarterly returns without, say for example, accruing certain expenses, and then at the end of the year you accrue a huge lump sum of expenses, which can trigger a mismatch.
I presume that the revenue will be looking for consistency in the returns, a green flag if you like, and if your figures are all over the place, particularly if that's by your industry, I presume it's a bit of a red flag.
Yes, yeah, correct.
So we know what we've got to do. 7th of August, we have to submit something, but what are the revenue doing if you don't submit it in time?
Currently, there are no penalties. Penalties have been suspended for at least this current tax year. However, penalties will be levied on late submissions, and when tax payments are introduced quarterly, late payment penalties would be introduced as well.
Yeah, in my experience, the revenue, they just take you down a path. They first of all, they say, oh, all right, just submit it on time, and then you got to pay it on time. Then they realise that you actually have to enforce it, so they get ever stronger penalties. Is that fair? I think that's fair, is how they tend to do it. So the answer to that is to do things properly in the first place. And why not? Because you can do things badly or you can do things well. You might as well do things. So Hussein, how can you help your clients make the most of this and not treat it like a burden and try and treat it like an opportunity? And how can you give general advice to your clients?
So we are currently helping clients and making the process as easy as possible. So as I previously mentioned, clients who are using spreadsheets, continuing to let them use spreadsheets, and we would use our softwares to do the submissions. Those who are already using softwares, we would use the same softwares to make the submissions. Of course, after reviewing the transactions, ensuring tax efficiency for all our clients. But in addition, we are also looking at structuring particular businesses like self-employed individuals who may benefit from incorporating.
Very good. So overall, we need to make sure that we are actually doing this, and 7th August is a big deadline, although not one where penalties are going to start. But however, we do need to get it right, and we need to get into the habit of doing it right. It is a good time to just look at the way that you do admin, and maybe look at whether you have a tax efficient structure and an admin efficient structure, and looking at the software that might help you create that. We will do regular updates, and we'll continue to do updates, so please subscribe to the channel where we can. And if you need help with this, or you're unsure, then please contact me and Hussein, and we'll do what we can to help.